High Carb Hannah and D-Man are an odd couple, and they're struggling with infertility. I have the impression that I'm recklessly optimistic that actually D-Man would make a really good father. I want to open this video by saying that. And you guys can guess, I don't watch that much of their content, but they did a memorable video recently in which High Carb Hannah pretended to have gone back to eating meat. And D-Man kept his cool and stayed compassionate while totally, utterly rejecting this and being horrified. And for most of us, myself included, yeah, you better. I'm looking into Melissa's eyes right now as I record this video. She knows I'd break up with her if she went back to eating meat. I love you. It's a great relationship. It's going great. I'm working hard. You know. If you convert to Islam or go back to eating meat, I'll break up with you. They're about in the same level. I mean, I'm sorry. I'd like to think you'd break up with me too. I don't know if you would. Hey, by the way, I think this is the first time I've worn a tie on camera since I did a job interview. I remember I did a couple of YouTube videos on the same day I did a job interview and I had a tie on for that. But Melissa was just joking around that I should put a tie on for this video given the somewhat grave and somewhat hilarious nature of this. So guys, I do not have a crush on High Carb Hannah. It's not what this is about. But they've been saying for quite some time that they're trying to get pregnant. And D-Man, bless him for his honesty, he's come out and said that his sperm count is actually 0. So they've had some operations, they've had some therapy. And like I say, they did this one video where she ambushes him with the surprise announcement that she's not vegan anymore and she's been secretly eating meat. And if you have kids, and I have kids will insult you and beat you and lie to you and do things to hurt you. I mean, really, that's the side that not even sitcoms deal with, that nobody really talks about. And yeah, when you look at it with detachment, it's cute. And sometimes in that moment when you're dealing with it, it's not so cute. It's really challenging. And I got a really positive impression of how Handyman, D-Man, is his name on screen, how they as a couple would handle it and how probably he would handle it, raising a kid. Just to give a harmless example. So a couple trips ago, we went to France to take care of my daughter, and for the first time in her life, she tried chocolate-covered banana. So it was vegan, dark chocolate over a banana. And when we give her back to her mom, to her biological mother, what does she do? She, her mom asked her, so how was the trip? She says, oh, it was great. I ate chocolate-covered bananas every day. And I get this furious email from my ex-wife saying, how could you feed her chocolate-covered bananas every day? It's like, so we had custody of her for 15 days. She ate chocolate-covered bananas twice, kind of once in the middle, once at the very end. But what does she do? That was her at age 4.5 or 5, I forget. And she goes back to her mom and, of course, lies and says she eats chocolate-covered bananas every day. Why? Because she's trying to manipulate her mom into feeding her more chocolate-covered bananas. Oh, no. And she had a whole story to justify eating chocolate-covered bananas. She's like, no, it's healthy as long as it's vegan. You can, as long as you eat broccoli and have a vegan diet, you can have chocolate-covered bananas. Of course, this is partly her own original master plan. Is partly recycled and remixed bits and pieces of things I've told her, taken in context. Kids will lie to you. Kids will literally beat you and slap you and punch you, and they can be mean. They can be mean to other kids. They can be really mean to their parents. So those are some positive qualities I see in those two. They look like they've got the forbearance to be parents. I think for both of us, the main red flag is that they want to do homeschooling, and so look, speaking of job interviews, not too long ago, so I have a background as an English teacher, and I showed up for a job that was not just English teaching, it was teaching the whole curriculum. So like math, science, based on Canadian school curriculum. And they gave me a test where I had to sit and write the test for something. So it was math is the only one I really remember. You think it's easy? You think even grade 6 math is easy? Because you don't use it in real life. It's not that it's inherently hard. It's just that you haven't seen that stuff since grade 6. It's unbelievably awful. So I don't know if they've done that. I don't know. Maybe they made a YouTube video of them sitting down and looking at the school curriculum, what they'll have to do if they homeschool. So I'm optimistic about who they are kind of emotionally and in their positive outlook. I'm not optimistic at all about the homeschooling thing. I think they should sit down with the curriculum and maybe go and visit some of the local schools. Where are they? Arizona? It's not that bad. It's not that... Maybe you gotta reconsider the limits of what you can and can't do as a parent. Okay, so this video is, my not too serious pitch, because, I was gonna say they were a young couple. I don't know if they're so different in age from you and I. Whatever. Melissa's 26. This is my pitch for why, look, they got a problem. I got a solution. Why my DNA should be considered on the list for high carb Hannah and D-Man's, next baby. Okay. Look, number one, we're never going to get to 10. Because look, the number one issue is it's really 9 out of the 10 issues that matter. We're talking about the DNA here. So the DNA. I really think with this one kid I've got so far, I think I've got a proven track record of really high quality DNA, right? So, my daughter, at about age 2 and 3, she seemed like a genius compared to other kids. I feel like the other kids have caught up a lot now at age 5 and 6. She's fluently bilingual in English and French, but she's bright, she's cheery. Obviously, I can send these guys videos or something. We can exchange if they get in touch with me. Okay, I should start at the beginning. Sorry, jumping all over the place here. But in France, people are such jerks. It's really different from American culture. When my daughter was born, she was this unbelievably beautiful, unbelievably cute baby. Like already on day one. On day one, she looked like a fake baby. She was so cute. Like the first day, the first hour at the hospital. Like, when you're watching a soap opera and you think, oh, it never looks like that. That looks like a fake baby. That was how she was on day one, hour one. So me and my ex-wife had this experience again and again at the hospital. Doctor or nurse would say, oh, wow, that's such a cute baby. And we would say, you must say that to all the babies. You must say that to all the families here at the hospital. And every single time, this is France, every single time they would say, no. No, I never say that to a baby. No, I only say that if the baby is actually cute. Every single time they said that. Sometimes they added a few extra things too. I remember one nurse saying, no, when the baby's not cute, I just don't say anything at all, and so on. Well, remember one of the doctors, he actually got into it in more detail. He said, oh, I see so many hundred new babies a year, and that's really the cutest baby I've seen in 5 years or something. It was really, she was really outstanding in that way. So she had some advantages. I'm big. I'm 6'3". She was not big, my daughter. My daughter took after her mother and her mother's mother. I think all three of them had the same birth weight. She was a small baby, but she was kind of perfectly formed. She came into the world really cute. And in terms of her character up to age 5, I really think she's been extraordinarily kind of loving and lovable. So Melissa, you'll remember this. You remember we were at the beach once. A lot of kids can be mean to younger and smaller kids. We were at the beach once, and there was a Maghrebi couple. So the Maghreb is North Africa, based one area in North Africa. And they had a daughter who was maybe 2 years younger than my daughter. So, my daughter speaks French and English fluently. And this little girl, French was her only language, but she was not at the level of speaking ability of my daughter, partly just because she was younger. And my daughter didn't just go over to her and help her and play with her and show her how to use toys at the beach. My daughter started teaching her songs and helping her to speak. It was so lovely. It was so loving and helpful and wonderful. And my daughter seemed to have all this patience for helping this younger kid. And for you as a parent, most of what you experience is your daughter being impatient with you. Whatever, just wanting to play, just wanting to do whatever she wants to do. And you got to see her stepping into more of a parental role. And she doesn't have a younger sibling. Up to this point, she's an only child. But she kind of had all this capacity, So, we're optimistic. We're cautiously optimistic about my daughter that she got. Look, I can't say all my DNA is good, but she got the curly hair DNA from me, which you now can't see at all anymore. She has the same kind of amazing mane of hair that I had up to whatever age 11 or something. Whenever I got sick of it, And apart from being smart and cute, I think, what I really value most about my daughter is exactly that kind of loving nature that she's managed to retain, despite in some obvious ways having a tough upbringing and a tough life in these first 5 years, including her separation from me and her being reunited with me now, because I only get to see her twice a year. It's in some ways a long distance relationship. I don't know. If we want to fill up the top 10, I'm vegan. The plan was for my daughter to be vegan from birth, and to some extent she was. My ex-wife is now also ex-vegan. So my daughter is lacto-vegetarian, but we've got to see how that played out. Melissa, you got anything to shout in with? I mean, what are the qualifications anyone would look for? I mean, I'm mens sana in corpore sano, but what are you going to say? No, Latin phrase. You don't know this.
No.
Okay.
Well, you have a high level of intelligence, both emotional intelligence and raw intelligence for learning all kinds of things.
Right.
I mean, you have a proven record of being a good learner.
Okay, so this is the question though. So when Melissa, when you chose me, Melissa's interested in having a kid with me too. I mean, I guess the idea was that you judged my intelligence just by watching my YouTube videos, right? Which is maybe a dangerous game, right? I mean, how do you know? I mean, look, is intelligence hereditary? I don't know. Is it inheritable? But then beyond that, I mean, how would high Carb Hannah know that I'm intelligent? I basically come on YouTube every day and play the fool. So I don't know,
You have
just saying.
Articles.
It's true. It's a hard thing to judge, but I guess you did take that stuff into consideration before you chose me. You read my research articles. You looked at this stuff. Yeah. You were aware to some extent. I taught myself very difficult languages like Laotian and Pali. Yeah. I did have teachers with Chinese. Some languages I totally taught myself. So that some of that stuff is kind of verifiable. But my point is, anyone can say that they're smart, right? I mean, like, I even feel I can verify that my daughter is smart to some extent. But I think it's a pretty tough call to reach out over the internet and decide someone's smart, right?
Well, you're witty and clever and
funny. From a totally biased... Yeah, okay, yeah.
Confident.
Yeah. But my confidence could be totally misplaced. I don't know. It's a tough call, right? I mean,
you're well spoken. You have nice features, I think.
Teeth. No, let's
teeth.
get into looking again for. So I have never had braces. You have, right? When you were a kid.
Yes,
no?
But it was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
I'm very confident saying it was like I had them on for like.
It's okay. I'm not gonna
reject
you for that reason. Okay, so I do manage to get through life never wearing glasses, never wearing reading glasses or whatever.
Right.
That's a funny thing about me. Before I became vegan, I actually did wear glasses. Pretty short time in my life. My vision was good enough I could live without them. But my vision actually kind of got better after I started being vegan. I think it was eliminating dairy from my diet. I breathed more clearly and stuff. And I now haven't worn glasses in many, many years. So my vision is not perfect, but I'm able to live my whole life and do everything without ever wearing glasses. Both long distance and near. My vision is good enough. Never had braces, never had any problems with teeth. Grandmother was a dentist. Her biased opinion, I had great teeth. 6'3".
Yeah, you have cute dimples when you smile. Like you have a dimpled chin, and
yeah, she's selling it. You think so, guys?
Well, it looks really cute on your daughter.
U.S. Okay. Shoe size U.S. 13 triple E. Sometimes wear U.S. 14 to be easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, yeah. Plays well with others. Easy to get along with. No. You heard it here first. No, I don't know how hereditary any of this stuff is. Great. Now I'm not going to get any AdSense revenue on this.
Really?
I don't know. It's cool. I'm just joking around with you. No, I'm just joking around with you. Well, what? I had my university grades on screen recently. But you see, to me, like, actually, this even relates back to my first marriage. You really can't pick someone on the basis of how well they conform with an institution, right? Like, the fact that you get high grades in university mostly shows what a conformist you are. It doesn't really show something positive about your character that's hereditary. What?
You have nice skin.
Okay, it's true. That's true, and that's a difference. Yeah. That's the difference between me and you and a lot of other people. I haven't struggled with this. True.
Usually really good, so you've got like good.
I got good vegan digestion.
Gut genes.
Yes, that's also something that changed when I became vegan. Before I was
you don't
vegan.
have like a history of heart disease in your family, or
No, no, and well, that's the other thing. So when my daughter was born in France, they did every single possible test for every possible genetic disorder, and there was absolutely nothing. So really, like including super, super obscure, genetic disorders. So I know I'm clean that way. That I have no hereditary defects that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So look, I mean, guys, we're half joking around here, but only half. I think we'd all like to believe that qualities like being vegan are hereditary, that moral qualities and intellectual qualities are hereditary. And I don't really believe that's true for two reasons. One, my father was a terrible person. Like, I don't see a lot of my own virtues in my father, right? Melissa's gotten to know my mother. I don't see my own virtues in my mother either. And then my father had 9 kids. Of those, 2 were with my mom, the rest of the other women. And, I would look in vain for really anything I have in common with my father's other kids, right? So when you got 9 of them.
Yeah, so you got the best DNA out of all 9.
Right. Yeah. But my point is, your belief in how hereditary or how elective these things are, like whatever it is you think is good about yourself, to what extent did you have to go out and make it? Or to what extent was it even a negative response against my father, right? Like I saw what was wrong with my father, I saw what was wrong with my mother, and decided I don't want to turn out that way. You know what I mean? Or to what extent are these things hereditary? If you come from a big family with a lot of brothers and sisters, it's hard to really believe in DNA and heredity that way. But yeah, I mean, really all I've got to say is, no joke. Look, D-Man and Carb Hannah, in a lot of ways, they're in an extraordinarily positive situation. They own land, they own a house, they're building another house. The vast majority of young couples do not have those advantages. I didn't when I decided to have my daughter, when I decided to have a kid. My ex-wife had just quit her job. We were both unemployed. And we said, okay, let's buckle down and raise a kid. Let's take this unemployment as the opportunity, because she knew she wanted to quit her job in advance, and what she did, and let's embrace the chaos.
We watched a video of hers where she was talking about finances.
Right. Carb Hannah. Right. Yeah. Go on.
Carb Hannah,
yep.
Yeah. And she sounds like she is experienced in this area.
Yep.
And she knows how to deal with financial situations. And,
yep.
And seems to have a good handle on it.
Right. And they seem to be living the very rare dream of paying their way through YouTube revenue. So yeah.
I feel pretty confident they're going to continue to be vegan.
Well, I guess that's the other ultimate question is, do you think that being a YouTuber is hereditary?
Yeah,
would you want to have the DNA of someone else who's on YouTube to increase your offspring's chances of also being a viable personality on YouTube? And hey, you know what else Carb Hannah and I have in common? You may not know this bit because it's so long ago. She and I both were trenchant critics of Durian Ryder and Freely back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
She was one of the first. That was one of the first big fissures, was when Carb Hannah took on Freely head to head. And yeah, at that stage, that was just when the cracks were starting to emerge. But she was in Chiang Mai and she turned again. Yeah. She was one of the original rebels. Yeah. Against the movement. So yeah, anyway, and hey, who knows? Long term, Carb Hannah, they're going to go through a lot of changes. If they have a kid, it changes you. It changes you politically. And I think all vegans care about ecology and the future of the planet more than the average person. But having a kid, I think in some ways it can radicalize you. It can really motivate you to care about the future of the planet on another level. And, we all get old. I don't think Carb Hannah is going to want to do, yoga videos forever. If she has a kid and gets into homeschooling and this stuff, she and D-Man, they're going to move on. They're going to, at some point, they'll be done with their home renovations. And I'd like to think that maybe having a kid is also going to plug them in more to caring more about ecological activism in the future, whether that's the future of the desert, just where they live, or of the nearest river, or the United States as a whole. So I'd also like to, they've changed so much in the couple of years since they first came on YouTube. They used to just be a weight loss channel and this kind of thing. They also, by the way, have done a lot of really brutally honest videos about how great their sex life is. So you and I have that in common with them to some extent. It's a smaller percentage of my YouTube videos, but yeah, they did. I remember back in the day, they did really, really upfront videos talking about that. What what worked for them in the bedroom and stuff, which is great. Whatever, if we can't keep it real, what's the point of being on YouTube? This is not CNN, this is not HBO. So yeah. But yeah, as much as their channels have changed, if they now go into a long-term phase of parenting and so on, I hope that's also going to bring about with it some kind of political deepening, or at least more long-term thinking, And I'm someone, I used to always in these videos be talking about, hey, let's talk about building the movement. For a lot of parents, especially if you're a parent, the question is not going to be, what can I do as a movement? The question is going to be, okay, what can the 3 or 4 of us do alone? What can we do not relying on anyone else? Because your schedule gets crowded. Your ability to cooperate with others gets more and more limited as you bring a new life into this world.